Hello everybody, and welcome to a brief history of Chuck E. Cheese. Chuck E. Cheese was created by this student named Nolan Bushnell, who invented this. Well, actually, he kind of stole Pong from someone else, but that's beside the point. He and his company, who you may have heard of, after a huge success with Atari in the game market, Bushnell wanted to do something more crazy. Arcades. Well, maybe it's not that crazy. Before Atari, Bushnell worked at amusement parks and had a major soft spot for Disneyland, specifically two rides: the Enchanted Tiki Room and the Country Bear Jamboree. So Bushnell thought it'd be a great idea to combine his two interests, Disney and arcade machines. We had to have food there, so they ended up with pizza, because everybody loves pizza, and that's a fact. At the time, arcades were sketchy. We're talking dark, smoky, bar-attached pits of broken dreams and loose quarters. This is not what they looked like, but you know what? A dingy bar fit the best. So in comes Coyote Pizza. Wait, that's not right. You see, Bushnell bought a costume at a trade show, and it looked like this. It was a coyote. Just kidding, it wasn't. They thought it was a coyote until they saw a big, disgusting rat tail. It was a rat. So they're gonna call him Rick Rat. Well, Rick Rat Pizza sounds like crap too. Well, we got a better idea? How about Chuck E. Cheese? Yeah, Chuck E. Cheese. I like the sound of that. What's the E stand for? Oh, his full name is Charles Entertainment Cheese. Yeah, great name. So the restaurant needs something very important next, that being animatronics. Now there are two types of people who like animatronics, like myself, and those that are terrified of it. In the original restaurant, they couldn't even afford full-body animatronics, so like in these weird-ass portraits, but they're kind of neat. They're right above your head. This version was very bizarre. Chuck E. Cheese here had a North Jersey accent, not South Jersey, North Jersey, and he smoked a giant-ass cigar. And you can't forget the giant mascot costume that everybody loved. Including in his gang of misfits that Chuck E. Cheese had around him were characters, such iconic characters as Krusty the Cat, Chuck E. Cheese's sidekick, loyal sidekick, who was so loyal that he got booed from the band, never to be seen again. He sucks. Also in his original band is Jethro T. Giles, who's a dog who loves country music. He later has a cheese guitar, which is pretty interesting. As well as Pasquale, who was an Italian man. It's kind of weird to have just a random dude there. But his original goal was to just announce when pizzas were being delivered, which obviously was canceled very early because that was very annoying to hear an Italian guy scream what pizza's ready 24/7 every minute of the hour. One of the strange things about the original Chuck E. Cheese is that they had guest stars, the most notable one being Helen Henny, who would later become a main cast member. And the last of the main Chuck E. Cheese contender is Mr. Munch, who replaced poor old Krusty the Cat, and he is a purple alien who loves pizza, and that's why he came to Earth. Pretty crazy, I know. When Chuck E. Cheese was launched in 1977, it was actually a massive success. Unfortunately for the Atari owners, they weren't going to go far because Warner, who owned the company at the time, was like, we don't want to invest in this, we only want one restaurant. So they had to quit their jobs in order to actually buy out Chuck E. Cheese from Warner for $500,000, which was quite a lot, but whatever. So now the Atari members were now working on this full time. And they need some franchisees, but, you know, that ended up backfiring as one of the franchisees was like, you know what, I'm going to do this myself instead of rely on you guys, because your animatronics suck. Enter ShowBiz Pizza Place, the #1 contender for Chuck E. Cheese's crown of pizza-themed entertainment restaurants for kids, with arcade machines. Very specific, but it was the thing that people wanted to do in the 80s. One of the things that ShowBiz had over Chuck E. Cheese was way better animatronics provided by its own individual company that was not in-house like Chuck E. Cheese was, meaning that these animatronics were, well, way better made. They moved better, they had full bodies, and they do a lot more than Chuck E. Cheese animatronics, which couldn't do a whole lot. Basically what happened is that every ShowBiz Pizza place was now going to be rebranded to Chuck E. Cheese, who used to be called Chuck E. Cheese Pizza Home Theater, but now just Chuck E. Cheese. So all the other ones would get basically refitted to be Chuck E. Cheese characters, and their parts were thrown away. It's very sad. And in case you're wondering, there is a full video from the company that really showcases how they did it, which is pretty interesting, but it is very creepy and off-settling. More creepy than a Five Nights at Freddy's jump scare, in my opinion, which aren't very scary at all.
And destroy all of these props as they will not be used again.
After this, the company basically showed zero signs of innovation, as the company pretty much stays exactly the same, other than the fact that Chuck E. Cheese got a brand new design. In order to be hip with the kids, Chuck E. Cheese ditched his bowler hat and suit and became a skateboarder guy who was chill, and he wears purple and green, which will become his iconic color scheme. It's very strange, but it's pretty nostalgic for me at least, because it's the one I grew up with. Pretty much ever since concept unification, the Chuck E. Cheese restaurant pretty much stayed exactly the same, with very little innovation, updates, or really anything. The pizza sucked and the animatronics stayed exactly the same. For a while. The only thing that was new is that some versions of the restaurant have a one stage called Studio C, which is Chuck E. Cheese, and that's about it. But other than that, the restaurant stayed mostly the same. That was until disaster struck. We got this. In 2010s, we got introduced to Abomination known as Rockstar Chuck E. Cheese. Well, he's no longer a rat, he's pint size, he's got a really wide face and way too much gray. He looks like a how you do, fellow kids, even more so than the previous design. Everything about him just sucks ass. And what's even worse is that this version came with the announcement of shutting down animatronics slowly over time, to the point that there is basically none. The company decided that they'd rather have a more sterile, blander looking design for their Chuck E. Cheese restaurants, focusing more on video screens with puppets, which are fine, but the actual restaurant designs are way worse. So instead of animatronics, we got a dance floor, because that's exciting. Yeah, I don't understand this. The aesthetics are just way worse, and they're less appealing, and even, you know what, as a kid, I wouldn't want to go here. It's too boring. It looks like a fucking mall. During all this, Chuck E. Cheese would go bankrupt in 2020, mostly due to the COVID-19 pandemic, but also due to the fact that the company was struggling financially due to the fact they kind of suck nowadays. But oh well. So currently, Chuck E. Cheese, instead of innovating, is just taking away stuff, which is not the best way to do it. Make better animatronics, make actual entertaining things, make your food better, add better arcade games. You know, there's a lot of things they could be doing, but they're choosing not to. And you know what? The company may go down, but at least they have some stages left out there for us to still enjoy. Anyway, that's it for the video. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more if you like this video. It's just a rough test for this style of video. Anyway, thank you for watching.